Morning, students. Today we're going to take what we learned from yesterday and we're going to apply it to a project. So over the next couple days, you're going to be doing a writing project about how-tos, and today's lesson is all about the directions, the expectations, and how you'll turn that project in. So for this project, before we start, you are going to need your steps from yesterday's lesson. So if you don't have those final steps that you were supposed to do for your homework, then push pause, finish them. If you don't have them in front of you, push pause and go get them. Otherwise, we're going to keep going. For this project, you will have two options. So option number one is if you want to create a piece of writing. You want to do this project on paper using a pencil, and you're going to write a final draft of your how-to writing. The other option is if you want to create a how-to video. So if you have access to a computer and you can record yourself doing this, instead of writing a paper, you would make a video. So right now, I want you to decide, would I rather create a piece of writing or would I rather create a video? So you'll have some time after this video to look at the slideshow. When you open up the slideshow, you'll be able to click. You can see my mouse turns into a finger. You'll be able to click on the paper if you want to do writing, and you'll be able to click on the computer if you want to do a video. So I'm going to click on the writing first, and then we'll go from there. So if you choose to write your how-to and you're going to make a final draft, you're going to use the steps from yesterday to create a final how-to piece of writing. What you're going to do is get a new piece of paper. Notice how I wrote new piece of paper, not the one that you have in front of you right now. And it's going to be your final draft. You're going to put your name on the paper, the date, and you're going to make a title for your how-to. So it might be, if you were using my example from yesterday, how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And you're going to put your name, your date, and your title on the top of your paper. After you've done that, you're going to rewrite your rough draft from yesterday. And instead of having step 1, you're going to change those kind of things into transition words. So words like first, then, finally. And coming up, I have a slide that will show you some examples for those too. So instead of saying step 1, grab your supplies, you're going to say the first thing you're going to do is grab your supplies. The second thing that you need to know is that you need to email or text your teacher a picture of your final piece of writing. And this assignment is due by 8 p.m. on Tuesday, April 14th. If your assignment is not texted or emailed by 8 p.m. on Tuesday, April 14th, you miss out on 4 points because that is your expectation, is to turn it in by 8 p.m. on Tuesday, April 18th. And the third one is if you want to add some pictures to your writing, please do that at the end when you finish your final draft. The pictures are not the point of this assignment. The point of this assignment is to work on your sequencing words and your final writing. But if you want to add pictures, feel free to do so at the end. So on this page, I have a bunch of examples of different writing samples. So you'll see this one is all about spaghetti and meatballs, how to make them. This one's about getting ready for a snowy day. And this one someone typed up about how to make cinnamon toast. You can see they use words like first. They use words like next and then, finally. These are really good transition words. None of these examples say step 1, do this. Step 2, do this. This is what your writing should look like when you turn it in at 8 p.m. on April 14th. So this is how you're going to get graded. There are 5 things that you're going to be graded on for this project. The first one that we've already talked about is being turned in on time. If you turn it in before 8 p.m. on April 14th, you get 4 points. If it's turned in late, you don't get any points for that one. The second expectation that we have is that your paper is about 5 steps long. We talked about this yesterday when you were making your rough draft. So it's around 5 steps. I don't want it to be any less than 3. That's not enough. You need to add more. And it shouldn't be more than 10. If it's more than 10, you need to cut down your steps and combine some of them. The third expectation is that your steps are clear. Are they in order? Do they make sense? And are there no obvious steps missing? So your steps should be in sequential order. They shouldn't be all mixed up. They should be clear and easy to follow. And they're in order, then I should be able to follow them just by reading your paper. The next expectation that we have is that you're using those sequential phrases which we've talked about. So words like first, then, after, or finally. I don't want to see any step one, do this. If you need some examples for those sequential phrases, the next slide that I'm going to share will have some of those examples. And the last expectation that we have is that your paper is neat and it's your best work. This should be your final draft that you're turning in, not a rough draft with erased words and erased steps. If you are making changes, please do it on a brand new piece of paper so that when you turn your assignment in, it's your best work. So total, all 5 of these steps, if you do all 5 of these things, you could get up to 20 points. This assignment is worth 20 points. So here's that slide I was just talking about. These are words that you could use first, second, third, at first, after that, at last. You can read them on your own when you go through the slideshow after this. The other version of this assignment is if you want to do a how-to video. So if you want to do a how-to video, you're going to click on the computer and it will bring you to this slide about making a video. It says you are going to use the steps from yesterday to create a how-to video. You should definitely be practicing before you film, because if you're like me, you will mess up if you don't. I've been recording videos all week and I've had to make second versions of almost all of them because I didn't practice. And once I learned that, I learned the importance of practicing before I do my final product. You also need to record your video and upload it to YouTube. So when you upload it to YouTube, your privacy should be set as unlisted. So this is one of the options where you can only see the YouTube video if you send the link. So by you emailing me your link, I will have access to see it, and anyone that does not have that link will not be able to see it. That will keep your internet safe, and it practices really good digital citizenship. Your video also needs to be around 5 minutes long. It should not be less than 3 minutes, and it shouldn't be any more than 10 minutes. If it's more than 10 minutes, that's just too long. You need to cut down your steps a little bit and combine some. If it's less than 3, then you need to add some more details or go into some of your steps a little bit more in depth. Third, you should email your teacher your YouTube link after your video is uploaded. So after you did this, recording your video and uploading it, email me that link so that I can see it. And you need to have that email sent out by 8 p.m. on Tuesday, April 14th. This assignment is due at 8 p.m. on Tuesday, April 14th. And after that, you lose 4 points on your assignment because it was not turned in on time. So please turn it in before 8 p.m. on Tuesday, April 14th. And step 4 is kind of just a reminder to have some fun, get creative, make a cool video that people want to watch. An example of what some YouTube videos look like that I found. When you're clicking through the slideshow to reread these things, you can click on these videos to watch them. I'm just going to show you the clip art for them for right now. So this one was called How to Make a Volcano Eruption. These 3 sisters made a volcano. They showed you the steps. They did a really great job laying it out. The other one is called How to Make a Fortune Teller from Go Noodle. I really like how this channel laid out the steps of how to make a fortune teller. But just a reminder that part of your grade is using words like first and next and finally. Go Noodle's video is really well done, but they use steps. So they say, step 1, do this. Step 2, do this. And I want you to use these sequential words like first, next, and finally. On the next slide, I'm going to show you some expectations that I have and that Miss Grubish and Miss Kerner also have, and how you'll be graded on your video. So your video is worth 20 points. On the top, you can see one of the expectations is that your video is turned on time. Your video is due at 8 p.m. on April 14th, and if you turn it in before 8 p.m., you get 4 points, and if it's turned in late, then you don't get any points. My second expectation is that your video is about 5 minutes long. We've talked about that already. Your video should be no less than 2 to 3 minutes. If it's too short, then you need to add more detail or add some more instructions. and it should not be longer than 10 minutes. If it's longer than 10 minutes, you need to cut down on some of your instructions and compact your video a little bit. The third expectation that we have is that the body of your video is clear. Do your steps make sense? Are they in order? Are there no obvious steps missing? If your video goes in order, it should be easy to follow along as a watcher. The next expectation that we have is that you're using those sequential phrases. We just talked about that, using first, then, after, finally. There's some more sequential phrases coming up on the next slide that I'm going to show you after this too. And the last expectation that we have is that your video is neat and not rushed, and it's evident that you practiced. Like I said, have fun, but make sure you're doing your best work. This is graded, like I said, it's graded, it's 20 points. So make sure that you're taking your time and doing your best. These are some of those sequential words that we talked about. Words like next, to start, in the beginning, finally. These are the words that we're looking for when we talk about sequential phrases. So just a reminder, this project is due to our email by 8 p.m. on Tuesday, April 14th. If for some reason you can't figure out how to send an email or you need help with uploading your video, please contact me before 8 p.m. Best case scenario, you're contacting me by noon on Tuesday or even Monday night. So please make sure you're not waiting till last minute, because if it's late, it's late. And to give you work time, there will be no skills reading comprehension. So the videos that we've been watching, there'll be no lessons from me on Monday or Tuesday, but there'll still be math, the readers, and listening and learning. So on this Monday and Tuesday, I will be available and I will put lesson information up on our website so that you can contact me with questions, but there won't be any videos or forms for you to fill out on Monday or Tuesday next week, so that you have time to give your best work and turn in your best video or paper by 8 p.m. on Tuesday, April 14th. If you have any questions, please email me, Miss Iwasco, Miss Kerner, or Miss Grubish, or you can give us a text or a call on our Google Voice accounts. I look forward to seeing all of your projects, and I'll see you next week. Have a good night.